in 1968, and the Nixon White House after that said had two enemies: the anti-war left and black people. He goes on to say, "You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did." And this is David Tullis, and that is what we have playing out today in the streets of Chattanooga and Helena County. And of course, you, my listener, who are from points beyond, know that it's a national effort, a war against unrighteousness, a war of prohibition. Now, this war has damaged many families in Chattanooga, both on the consuming side, the selling side, and the law enforcement side as well. In 2013, there was a massive case brought by the federal government against 33 members, men who were said to be involved in the drug trade. Some is one, Zell Jenkins was the leader, probably not much disputing on that point that he was involved in it. And we do have a caller. You're live on the air. What's on your mind? Get to the point. We have a lot to get to this segment.
David?
Yes. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Hine.
Dr. Hine, could I call you back, sir? Thank you so much. This is David Tullis, and Dr. Hine is my guest, and I couldn't get him on the earlier segment. But we're talking about the drug war and about what a local filmmaker, two local filmmakers say is unjust treatment, where the white officials who are involved in the drug trade, as Sheriff Billy Long was in 2008 in his criminal case, and black people, common citizens involved in the drug trade or said to be involved in the drug trade, get shafted. Long out early, and men involved, some very, very marginally, some involved in that worst of the worst case in 2013, with hardly traffic records, in a massive roundup called the worst of the worst. And this is David Tullis, and we want to talk now with two men who have made a video about the 2013 roundup of the so-called worst of the worst. They are Lil Mo Films. That these are their stage names, and also Maal The Pimp. Gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming into the studio today.
Thank you for having us, man.
Well, Maal The Pimp, tell my listener what this video is about. What's in it?
Basically, what we wanted to do was bring to the table. We want to kind of expose and make awareness on what was going on. To piggyback off of what you said, this documentary is called 32. It's based on the 32-man roundup who were labeled as the worst of the worst. So, we didn't agree with those guys being called that. For one, it was defamation of character by naming somebody that, and then two, with all the guys. If the main goal is to clean up drugs off the street, you shouldn't just get all black men. Every race does drugs, not just black people. So by the fact that you get all black men, it makes us think they were racially profiled.
Right. And Allison Gerber, the editor of the paper at the time, defended putting the mugshots of all these men on page one above the fold. The whole top half of the paper on page one, the day of the siege, was all of these faces, and so it was viewed as a racist argument. It wasn't about. It wasn't about a criminal court case. It was about these are the enemies of the people, effectively.
Right, and they were wrong for that, and they were wrong for that. And then to go a step further, when you go to the judicial system, these guys were minor players in the game according to the amounts that they were allegedly charged with. The sheriff was a major player in the game. For them to get a lot more time than the actual Hamilton County sheriff who brought the drugs to the community, they just don't add up unless it's race related.
Well, tell my listener about maybe one or two of the people in the movie and the you have interviews with mothers and relatives. What tell about one case that strikes you as particularly egregious?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. One of the guys who spoke on that was actually a close friend of mine, Gerald Tony. Now, in his situation, he was pretty much guilty by association. A guy who he was best friends with, they wanted that guy. And the fact that they had been seen in each other's company before because they were friends. So they had been seeing no surveillance footage as far as going out to eat, going out of town and stuff like that. So when they got him, they wanted him to give statements against the guy who they really wanted. And he refused to because he had no information for him. So what they did, since he refused to talk, They told him, okay, if you're not going to tell us anything so we can basically nail this guy to the cross, we're going to take this phone call when you and your wife and him and his wife was talking about going to Zaxby's Chicken and have basically a double date meal. We're going to take that and say you all were talking about drugs, unless you tell us what we want to know. So it was kind of almost put under the risk. He didn't fold. He didn't tell him anything because he had no information for him. So since he had no information for him, they took a conversation that was talking about food. I can ask you to meet me at Zaxby's or meet me at Crystal's. And they took that and turned that into a drug conversation. And what are you going to, you can't fight the Fed, so you have to cop out and take the plea.
This is David Tullis, and we're talking also here with Lil Mo Films. Lil Mo, tell my listener what this movie is about. What's the main argument in your film?
The main argument in this film is pretty much injustice, man. What we want to do is bring awareness to inequality. You know, it's very unequal here in Chattanooga. We able to go out of town and go to other places, Atlanta, Nashville, California, all these places, and black people are thriving, prospering. But we come down here to this city in Chattanooga, man, it's like it's something from the 1800s or something, man. It's just not fair. You know what I mean? And what we want to do is bring awareness to it. How it's a new day and age, man. We all should be treated equal.
Now, the video, let's say, I don't know how you would rate the video, but it has quite a bit of very rough street language in it. It has a lot of grind. It's a mix of grinding rhythms and music and kind of a very songful and very rapid staccato verses that accuse the system of being unjust. There's a one on you. We have I have here in my hand an extended director's cut edition that has a music video in it called Trouble, and it says if you're getting in trouble, that just means you're effing up. And so there's true. You might say some R-rated language in it, but it is it's very suggestive of for me, who's an insulated, sort of isolated Caucasian, of how many people live and how they think and how they speak. And so it's very your video gives a lot of insight into your lives, right, as Chattanoogans.
Right. Yeah. So basically, yeah, I mean, so we come from the inner city. So, when we take those things and depict it on video, on camera, the fact that we come from rough conditions, sometimes we have to describe it with rough language, but you can take the cursing out of it and just look at the message. You know what I mean? It's a message that lies beneath all of the language. That's the important thing we want to get across.
One sense that I get is that you and family members feel just absolutely helpless in light of the huge event that was made. It was in all the press, the press all unified behind the marketing phrase "worst of the worst," and of course all the faces on the front page are black.
Right.
And there's as much marketing about how we, the police and the federal investigators who worked for 4 years, we are on top of this. We are cleaning up the city. Crime will go down. Fewer drugs will be sold. Young people will not be addicted. Moms expecting children won't give birth to addicted infants. And there's this implication of we're cleaning up the dirt and the grit, and we're going to be a better, richer, healthier people after this case goes through.
All right, now look, with that being said, they took these guys off the street in 2013, right? It's 2019. We're still having the homicide rate has tripled. There's still multiple drugs in the city. Still crime going on. So if you took these so-called worst of the worst off the street, why is the crime still going on?
What did you fix?
Right.
What did you fix? What did you fix? You ain't fixed nothing. You know what I mean? Like, what we got to do is really come up with real solutions, man. Real solutions, man. The crazy thing about it is everybody got a movement going on now, David. Black Lives Matter, the LGBT community, all these communities got a movement. The only people you don't see with a movement is who? The white man. Why he ain't got no movement? Because he don't need a movement.
Explain that.
He don't need a movement. Everybody got a movement except him.
Because he's the establishment, and all the movements are saying the movement is going something in the establishment.
You throwing rocks and you hiding your hand, man. You know what I mean? Our conditions, the conditions that we living in, man, was brought upon by stuff that's been done in the past. We can't hide that, man. We can't keep sweeping that up under the rug. We can't keep sweeping that under the rug. Now, until we decide together to fix the problem, together. That's the key word, together. Until we decide together to fix the problem, it's gonna keep being a battle of movements and movements and movements until you know who knows what the future brings.
This is David Tullis and Caller Live on the air with me.
Yeah, and the reason why the white man don't have a movement, I haven't had a movement, because we're too busy taking it without lubrication from the man. Don't go telling me we don't need a movement. The government has screwed us time and time again. The most disenfranchised class of citizen in America are the unborn black baby who they murder relentlessly out of the womb. Millions a year of little black babies that are murdered in the womb. And the black community still embraces liberal Democrats. So, wake up and smell the coffee, brother. And let me tell you, the white male is disenfranchised. We're screwed by everyone, everybody. We don't have a movement because we don't have time for our damn movement. We're too busy working. So don't tell me that we're not getting screwed over.
So y'all the only ones working? That's what you're saying? Y'all the only ones working?
Come on, man.
Are y'all the only ones working? That's what you're saying?
No, I'm not the only one.
So you think the white man is the only one working?
Disenfranchised. In TV, we're considered to be stupid. Only the female or the kid is smart. The white male supposedly is the racist, and we're not.
Son, you got a lot of built-up tension, man. What's wrong? Hey,
why do blacks still vote for Democrats? Can you answer me that question?
We're not talking about Democrat and Republican. We're talking about right and wrong.
Wait a second. Why do you vote for a group of people that murder unjustifiably more black
We're not talking about Democrat and Republican. No, you missing the whole point, partner. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about Democrat and Republican.
What are we talking about?
You talking about hold on, listen, we're not talking about Democrat and Republican. We're talking about right and wrong. That's what we're talking about.
Embraces those thugs.
Who you calling a thug? Who was a thug?
We don't have a movement.
Who you calling a thug?
We can't have a movement. You know why? We can't go to the bathroom. We're too busy getting stuck by everybody.
So you think you don't want to get stuck? That's what you're saying? What you want, a pity party? You think you don't want to get stuck? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying we're getting stuck by everyone, where everyone considers the white man the villain. And we know the white man's not the villain. The white man's trying to keep his head above ground.
Well, let me ask you this then, so you got such an opinion. What is the black man doing? Answer that. Is the black man the thug or the villain, or is the black man trying to keep his head above ground? What is the black man doing?
Let me tell you, I would not want to be born black in America.
You saying that from a neck?
You know
why is that?
You're what?
Why is that? Why is that?
Well, because you have a disadvantage. First of all, when people look at your color, they automatically make assumptions that aren't true.
All right.
If somebody's walking down the street at 1 a.m. and there's black men on one side and white men on the other, she's going to cross over to the white men.
You're right. That's right. That's true.
She's been conditioned to be afraid of black men. I wouldn't want to approach a cop as a black guy. Chances are you're going to get handcuffed and thrown to the ground.
That's true.
If you don't believe me, watch live PD. Listen, I know all the abuses that blacks take. I know it. It's unjustifiable. It's ridiculous. It's unconscionable.
Let me ask you this.
Born black, leading the revolution today.
Let me ask you this.
But you just can't blame white America or white males. I am 61 years old.
He can't even stop talking because he don't know how to respect another man trying to talk. He wants to keep talking.
To use the N-word or to put down blacks.
Hey, let me ask you this, my man. Let me ask you this. You just said yourself, you wouldn't want to be a black man to get approached by a cop, right? So the cop that would normally do, now listen to me, with that being said, we're going to go off of what you said. So with that being said, the cop that would normally do something bad to that black man, what color is that cop? Is it a black cop?
A lot of times most of the time he's white, sometimes black.
All right, now with that, whoa. Do you understand why a black man would feel that way? Do you understand that? Do you get that?
Absolutely. But you can't paint all white people.
We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that.
The position of power. Let me tell you something. In the large cities, it's mainly black cops that abuse black people because it's their mindset.
What world is you living in?
That's their training.
What world is you living in, man?
What city you from?
Man? Look at Baltimore. Look at Detroit. Look at Chicago. Come on. They're black cops abusing blacks, and you know that. It is a police culture. That's the problem. We have to get them out of that culture of we're slaves and they're our masters. We have to get rid of that culture. Now, yes, it is worse for black males. There's no doubt about it. But you can't go blaming all white or there's no white. There is a white movement. It's called Donald Trump. He's the white movement that wants to free blacks too, to free them from the bond of slavery from their Democrat masters who've destroyed black communities, who murder unborn black children. So yeah, if you want to talk about a white movement, it was Donald Trump, not against blacks, but to elevate everyone. We want to bring everybody off of the plantation, the whites and blacks.
Hey man, as long as people still out there thinking like how you think, man, we got an uphill battle, man. It really ain't even no point in arguing with you, brother. You know what I'm saying, guy? I wish you the best.
No, there's no point
and I hope
me,
God,
I
hope God touch your heart,
right.
man.
No,
you don't want to
what we trying to do, my man, what we trying to do ain't got nothing to do with.
You need to listen.
With this nonsense, what you talking about, man?
You want to make progress? I'm going to give you a little hint here, okay?
We don't need to take no advice from you, man. 90% of the
population of this country is white. And if you want to get whites on your side to make a change, you need to change your act.
Ain't nobody trying to get nobody on our side. We're trying to do what's fair. And what you need to do, why don't you come May the 9th at the Camp House, 149 East MLK Street. We will be having a panel discussion. Shouts out to my man Matt Busby, man, from the Camp House. Those some good people down at the Camp House, man. They really care about the black community. Y'all come down there May the 9th from 6 to 8. We're going to be having a discussion, man. We're going to have a lot of important people in the building. And I would love you to show your face down there, man, so you can hear.
Thanks for calling.
We'll actually have some of the 32 men at the panel speaking, and we'll be able to explain some of this further, man.
This is David Tullis, and we're talking with the two producers of the video 32. It is I'm holding up the extended director's cut edition. The filmmakers are Lil Mo Films. These are their names, and Maal The Pimp. And we're hearing about an event coming up at the Camp House in May. And we have another caller. Caller, what's on your mind? We've just got about a minute.
Is this me?
Yes, go ahead. You're on the air with
okay.
with filmmakers. Real quick.
I'm not going to go the direction that guy was going in, but I am curious as to what the black community is doing to help themselves.
Okay, you the one. Somebody say that. We doing everything we can do to help ourselves, but guess what, brother? We are not the ones who help put ourselves in the situation that we in. What's happening is people throwing rocks and hiding their hands. We got into this situation with help from other people. We might as well just say white people. Who put you in it? White people. And we're trying to dig ourselves out, but the people in power have to help us. And if not, we have to help ourselves, and we're trying to do that. And it's just a longer process.
That's what I'm trying to do as well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it. The name is David Tullis, and we're trying to find out more about the movie 32. Tell my listeners, or tell my listener, Lil Mo, about the main idea of this art. What is the argument in this video? It's about an hour long.
We're just trying to bring awareness, man, to inequality. It's unequal out here, and we want to be treated equal.
Lil Mo, thanks for joining me, and also Jamal. Video, Chattanooga. It's Chattanooga history. Very, very colorful, extraordinarily colorful and gripping. I found parts of it hypnotic. My name is David Tullis, and I've got some messages, and we'll be right back. We're going to talk with Dr. Hine.